Hello everyone, myself Avnish Tiwari, Assistant Professor in Civil Engineering Department at Sri Ram Swaroop Memorial College of Engineering and Management, Lucknow. This is 4th lecture of Environmental Engineering KCE 603. In this lecture, we are going to cover few methods of environmental forecasting and numericals problem associated with population forecasting. So, what we are able to understand at the end of this lecture is you all are able to forecast the population for a city on the basis of available data from the census board. So, in previous lecture we have discussed certain methods which includes arithmetic increase method, geometric increase method. These two methods are based on assumptions that population increases are constant. In first one there is a constant rate, second one is a percentage growth is constant. In incremental increase there is a increase in population, means this assumption is not based on assumption that population growth rate is constant. They assumed that there will be increase in population, that increase may be positive or negative. And in next method, that is logistic curve method, it came into notice that this method is based on a ideal population growth curve, and we have received or we have concluded certain expression using which we can easily estimate the population. Coming to next method, that is master plan method. So, this method is applicable for big and metropolitan cities, and what happens by this method, according to this method these cities are not allowed to develop in uncontrolled way or in haphazard way, means for their growth there are certain rules and regulation, and these rules and regulation are planned by local bodies, and it includes the division of city into various zones, and these zones are residence zone, commercial zone and industrial zones. Means यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि अनकंट्रोल्ड वे में उस पर्टिकुलर सिटी की ग्रोथ पॉसिबल नहीं है. द ग्रोथ will occur according to different divisions, and the population densities are also fixed. जो हमारे different zones हैं उनकी population densities क्या है, fixed है. Accordingly population estimates can be made. What happen if population densities are fixed for different zones, then using that population density we can easily estimate the population. मीन्स अगर हमें population density पता होगी तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं, हम उस particular area के लिए populations calculate कर सकते हैं. In master plan containing land use pattern zoning regulations, मीन्स जो हमारे master plans available होते हैं that contains land use patterns and zoning regulations, the anticipated population can be based on the ultimate densities and permitted floor space index. मीन्स जो हमारी population densities हैं या जो anticipated population है they are basically based on densities and जो हमारा वहाँ का floor space index है जो कि कहाँ पे provided होगा in our master plan, and the master plan is for that particular city. So उसके basis पे ही क्या करते हैं, उस that city की growth होती है. If master plan is not present, then what we will do in absence of such information? According to CPHEO manual, we are going to estimate the population, and using what? Using densities. So for different sizes of town, the densities of population per hectare are as follows. Size of town less than 5,000, what will be the density? 75 to 150 per hectare. 5,000 to 1,000, that will be 150 to 250. 2,001 to 50,000, the density will be 250 to 300 population per hectare, and 5,001 to 1 lakh population density will be 300 to 350 per hectare. Similarly, for population greater than 1 lakh, population density will be 350 to 1,000. So we can conclude that by this method the city will grow in a controlled way, and that controlled way makes the availability of data in the form of population densities, which will be helpful in estimating the population or estimating the forecasted population. Next methods are graphical methods, means we need a graph for estimating the population. What is simple graphical method? These methods are again dependent on data available from census board. So in simple graphical method, what we will do, basically we will plot a graph between what? Between time and population. Let's say we have data, and using that data we have plot a curve, and this is the time from beginning from which the data is available to the point at which last data is known. What we are going to do, just for estimating the population in future, means this is the time during which we are not having data. By simple graphical method, what we are going to do, we are going to just extend the curve, and after extending the curve corresponding to that time, we can easily estimate the population. So this method is based on the available data, and the curve is plotted time versus population, and the curve is smoothly extended to the desired year. मीन्स हमें जब की भी पॉपुलेशन कैलकुलेट करनी होगी, हम वहाँ तक उस कर्व को क्या करेंगे, एक्सटेंड करेंगे, एंड वी कैन ईजिली फोरकास्ट द पॉपुलेशन. सो दिस मेथड इज not a very accurate method. They gives us an approximate results while comparing with other methods. Next one is a comparative graphical method. In comparative graphical method, what is going to happen? Basically, here the data is available for different cities, and we will find that which city having the same characteristics with respect to our current city for which we are going to estimate the population, and we will use the growth curve of that particular city to estimate the population for the current city. Means हमारी जो भी city का growth क्या हो रहा है, आपके करंट सिटी के मिल रहा है. मीन्स अगर हमारे पास क्या है, ये दो कर्व्स अवेलेबल हैं. बेसिकली अगर हम बोले कि हमारे पास क्या है, कर्व्स अवेलेबल हैं, एंड जो कर्व्स हैं, दिस इज फॉर सिटी ए एंड दिस इज फॉर सिटी बी, एंड वी हैव टू एस्टिमेट पॉपुलेशन और वी हैव टू फोरकास्ट पॉपुलेशन फॉर सिटी सी. व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू, हमें क्या करना है, हमें बेसिकली सबसे पहले ये आइडेंटिफाई करना है कि बिटवीन दीज टू सिटीज which possesses the same condition and characteristics. So in the similar way हम क्या करेंगे, कर्व को यूज करते हुए सिटी सी का भी पॉपुलेशन एस्टिमेट कर लेंगे. ओके, सो दिस इज कंपैरेटिव ग्राफिकल मेथड. नेक्स्ट वन इज रेशियो मेथड. इन रेशियो मेथड वी आर यूजिंग two datas. One is local population data. For example, if we have to estimate population for Lucknow, then here local population will be for Lucknow. And next one is a country population, and by using local population and country population, what we are going to do, we are going to just calculate the ratio. After getting the ratio of local population to national population, we will prepare a graph, we will prepare a curve, and that curve will be again time versus ratio. After getting a curve between time versus ratio, what we are going to do, just we are going to extend that particular curve. So the curve is plotted between time and calculated ratio, and that particular curve is extended to a design period. मीन्स हमें जब की भी पॉपुलेशन चाहिए होगी हम तब के लिए उस कर्व को एक्सटेंड करेंगे, एंड आफ्टर एक्सटेंडिंग द कर्व लेट the curve is like that. For example, if we are taking a curve and that curve represent ratio versus time, if we need to calculate the population of that particular city at that time, we have to extend that particular curve, and at that particular point there will be ratio of what? Local population versus national population. So local population versus national population, we have already calculated the ratio by extending the curve. So हम क्या करेंगे, हम यहाँ पे national population की वैल्यू पुट करेंगे and we will easily estimate the local population. So होता क्या है कि बेसिकली ये मेथड हमारा बेस्ड है रेशियोज पे, और उस रेशियोज को यूज करते हुए हम क्या करते हैं, लोकल पॉपुलेशन को कैलकुलेट कर लेते हैं. ओके, सो दिस इज रेशियो मेथड. कमिंग टू नेक्स्ट इज न्यूमेरिकल रिलेटेड टू पॉपुलेशन फोरकास्टिंग. सो what we are going to do, we are going to estimate the population by using these three different methods. First one is arithmetic increase method, geometric increase method, incremental increase method, and the data which we are using is year versus population data. In 1950 the population is 70,000, in 1960 population is 1 lakh, in 1970 population is 1,50,000, in 1980 population is 2 lakh, and in 1990 population is 2,40,000. What we have to do, we have to estimate the population after 1, 3 and 5 decade. After 1 decade of this means we have to estimate population in 2000, we have to estimate population in 2020, and we have to estimate population after 5 decades, means we have to estimate population in 2040, means 2040, by using given below methods: arithmetic increase, geometric increase and incremental increase method. Coming to first method, that is arithmetic increase method, we have expression to calculate the values, that is what? Pn equals to P naught plus n into x bar. What is n? N is number of decades between last known population and the time at which we have to estimate the population. P naught is last known population, and x bar is what? The increase, and the increase is in the form of mean. So first of all we have to calculate the increase. So from 1950 to 1960 the increase in population is of 30,000. From 1960 to 1970 the population increase of 50,000. 1970 to 1980 the population increase of 50,000, and in 1980 to 1990 the population increase of 40,000. These are the increases in between two different decades. So what about mean increase? Mean increase can be easily estimated by adding all the values and dividing it by the number of values. Number of counts are what? 1, 2, 3, 4, means we have to simply divide it by 4 and we will get the value of x bar, means mean increase. So putting all the values in formula, population in 2000 means we are going to estimate population after 1 decade, and will be what? 1. We are going to calculate population in 2020. number of decades will be 3, and in 2040 number of decades will be 5, because last known population is for the year 1990. So number of decades in 1990 to 2040 is what? That is 5. So putting all the values, P1990, that is 2,40,000 plus 1 into 42,500. For P2020, what we are going to do, just simply adding the population 3 into 42,500, and for estimating the population for last 5th decade is simply adding last known population with a term that is 5 into 4 to 2,500. सो यहाँ से अगर हम ये देखें तो मीन्स हमें जब की भी पॉपुलेशन एस्टिमेट करनी है, हम क्या कर रहे हैं, सिंपली इसमें क्या कर रहे हैं, वैल्यूज़ को ऐड कर रहे हैं, किसमें, लास्ट नोन पॉपुलेशन में. और लास्ट नोन पॉपुलेशन में कितनी वैल्यूज इंक्रीज हो रही है, इंक्रीज इन मीन मल्टीप्लाइड बाई योर नंबर ऑफ डिकेड्स, जो कि आपके दो पॉपुलेशन मीन्स लास्ट नोन पॉपुलेशन एंड पॉपुलेशन टू बी फोरकास्टेड के बीच में एग्जिस्ट कर रहा है. कमिंग टू नेक्स्ट मेथड, दैट इज ज्योमेट्रिक इंक्रीज मेथड. सो ज्योमेट्रिक इंक्रीज मेथड में क्या था कि जो हमारा परसेंटेज ग्रोथ रेट था दैट इज एज्यूम्ड एज कांस्टेंट. सो पी एन इक्वल्स टू पी नॉट मल्टीप्लाइड बाई 1 प्लस आर बाई 100 टू द पावर एन. Here R is what? Growth rate. जो assumed mean growth rate is R, and N is again what? Number of decades between last known population and the time at which we have to calculate the population. Again here what we are going to do, here we are going to calculate increase, and after calculating the increase what we are going to do, we are just calculating increase in percentage. So these all are the increase in population. What is increase in percentage? This will be what? Simply 30,000 divided by 70,000. So from 1950 to 1960 the increase in population is 42.857%. From 1960 to 1970 the increase in population is what? 50,000 divided by 1 lakh. Okay, and from 1970 to 1980 the increase in population is what? We have to simply just divide it and we will get the percentage कि हमारा कितना increase वहाँ पे exist कर रहा है, and at last we will calculate the value कि हमारा जो 1980 to 1990 में कितना population आपका increase हो रहा है वहाँ पे. Okay, so coming to next part, what we need to estimate assumed mean growth rate. So according to Government of India manual, here we have to perform geometric mean calculation, and geometric mean can be calculated by using all the 4 values, and all the 4 values should be multiplied and the power should be 1 by 4. So basically हम क्या कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, geometric mean calculate कर रहे हैं. So that is 1 by 4th power of what? R1, R2, R3 and R4. So ये किया and we will get the value of assumed mean growth rate. So after getting the value of R, we can easily estimate the population for year P2000, 2020 and 2040. The only difference is that we have to put different values here. For P2000 we put the value n as a 1 because the number of decade between 1990 to that is 2000 is 1, and from 1990 to 2020 the number of decade is 3, and from 1990 to 2040 number of decades is here 5. So we have already calculated the value of R, and here the value of n is already known. So what we will do, put all the values and we can easily estimate the population for different decades. Means P2000 will be what? 2,40,000 into 1 plus R divided by 100 to the power 1. Similar way में हम क्या कर सकते हैं, वी कैन एस्टिमेट द पॉपुलेशन फॉर अदर possible years also. Next method is incremental increase method. Here the growth rate is not assumed as a constant. It may be either increasing or it may be decreasing. Decreasing will result as a negative sign while increment will be always positive. So basic thing is that first of all we need to calculate what is increase in population. So in previous two methods we have already done the same things. Here the difference is that an extra calculation is involved, and the extra calculation is in the form of incremental increase. Means what is the increase in population? That increase can be positive or negative. Positive represents growth, negative represents that there is a decrease in population. So we are going to calculate further increase in the previously calculated increase in population. 30,000 to 50,000 move करने पे there will be increase of 20,000 population, and from 50,000 to 50,000 the net increase is 0, and from 50,000 to 40,000 what is the result? The result is that the population increases by minus 10,000. What does it means? It means जो हमारा population है वो क्या हो रहा है, decrease हो रहा है. तो means incremental increase is negative. So at last we have to calculate the mean of all that. So we have already calculated the value of x bar, and for the mean of incremental increase what we are going to do, simply we are going to add all three values, that is 2000 plus 0 plus minus 10,000 divided by 3. 0 does not mean that we are going to exclude that values. Number of count, that is 3. So for the mean we are going to divide the summation of all 3 divided by 3. So y bar will be what, 10,000 by 3, and putting all the values in the known formula, that is p n equals to p naught n x bar n plus 1 by 2 into y bar. We have already calculated the value of x bar, y bar, and n has its usual meaning, that number of decades between last known population and the population which we have to calculate. So n will be 1, here n will be 3, here n will be the 5, and what will the one population corresponding to year 1990, that is 2,40,000. So simply we have to put all the values and we can calculate the values of population by incremental increase method. Here value of y is what, 10,000 divided by 3, value of x is 42,500. Putting all the values we can easily calculate the population corresponding to year 2000, year 2020 and year 2040. So next method is population forecasting using logistic curve method. So in two periods of each 20 years a city has growth from 40,000 population to 1,85,000 then to 3,40,000. Means beginning का time अगर हम assume कर ले 0 तो next 20 year में जो population growth हुई है वो 40,000 to 1,85,000 हुई है. Further next 20 year में जो growth हुई है that is 3,40,000. Though t will be 0, t1 will be 20, t2 will be 40 years, and p0, p1 and p2 will be 40,000, 1,85,000 and 3,40,000. So the values of p1, p0, p2 are known. In order to calculate the population for next 40 year we need to get equation, that is for logistic curve, and for that we need the value of ps, m and n. M and are constant, ps is saturated population. The known expression for ps is ps equals to 2 p0 p1 p2 minus p1 square p1 plus p2 divided p0 into p2 minus p1 square. Putting the values of p0, p1, p2, that is 40,000, 1,85,000, 3,40,000, we get ps as 3,86,594. After getting the ps we can calculate p. Using ps, p0 we can calculate m. So putting the value of ps, p0 we get m as 8.665, and after getting the value of m and ps, we can also calculate n. As such, in n we need the value of ps. Putting the values of ps, p naught, p1 and t1. What is t1? Basically t1 is time interval between t naught to t1, that is 20 years. Okay, so t1 is 20 year. After putting the value, we will get the value of n, that is minus 0.1036, and putting the values in equation, we can easily derive logistic curve equation. So p will be what? ps divided 1 plus m into log inverse nt. So this is the logistic curve equation. Here the value which we need is t. So t is what? T is the time at which we have to calculate the population, and it should be time period from beginning. If we are calculating population after next 20 and 40 years, then t does not mean it is 20 or 40 year. That should be calculated from t equals to 0. So then what will be value of t? T will be 40 plus 20 means 60, and t will be 40 plus 40 means 80. So after we are doing, we get 80. So for next 20 year, here we will put t as 60 year, and after 40 year, here we will put as a 80 year. After putting the values and solving the equation, we will get expected population after 20 year and 40 year. So that all about population forecasting method. These all are the references. Thank you.